don't you tell everybody what that one was?
I don't want to. You tell them.
What made you play that one?
I don't know. I'm thinking about doing piano covers of really crappy music. No, okay. That's rude.
Music that you didn't get into.
That is more like it. Music
that was Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, played very, very, very slowly.
Yeah, to try to find things like that, Nickelback, it would be funny, I think, to try to find, because when you slow some of these songs down, they're so pretty. I mean, that's the thing, right? Or for me, trying to find songs like this that you don't think about slowing down, and when you do, there's this beauty in them, and then do a piano cover on them. That's what I try to do. A lot of duds,
Speaking of...
I think I know.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Great Measures. My name is Richard, this is Judson, and today...
Apollo!
We're going to listen to Creed. How much Creed do you know?
I mean, I know that one song, and then maybe a little bit of that other song, and then...
The legend, Scott Stapp. All right, so I'm gonna go.
Did I say Great Measures?
No, you didn't.
Great Measures.
I'm gonna go with one that I don't think you know. I'm pretty sure you don't know this one.
I know With Open Arms.
With Arms Wide Open.
Okay. What's the other one? Was a Journey song.
Yeah.
Come to you, broken arms.
Just open.
Open arms. My dad used to sing Broken Arms, I think.
All right. So this one's called What If?
By Creed.
Pretty sure you haven't heard this one.
What if?
Maybe you have heard this one.
I should we'll talk about it later, because I totally respect the dude, his life.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
This is going to be so painful.
Let's do it.
All right, this is What If by Creed.
I can't believe you just said that to me. I would never have thought, I'd never imagined that this would be we'd be in this moment right now, and I'd be getting ready to listen to a Creed song. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
Here we are.
Come a long way, Richard.
Yeah.
Okay, proceed. whole lot of what ifs. Whole lot of what ifs.
What you think about that one?
So we try to listen to things with an open mind around here.
Objectively, you can tell me that's a bad song?
Well, there is no such thing as objectively, really. Not really.
All right, let's not go philosophical. You don't like the song?
No. Well, no, that's not what I'm saying.
All right.
Well, we'll start with the things that I do like about the song. How about that?
Okay.
The guitar player is a madman.
Yeah, Mark Tremonti.
He has a very eclectic and tasteful use of his wah pedal.
Okay.
He'll turn it on and he'll keep it low and then bring it in. Wow. You know, he doesn't just do what people usually do, just the womp, 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 womp. I mean, he'll do that maybe at times, but he uses, there's a plethora of sounds in a wah pedal depending on where your position is on your foot. I just call it the closed off sound and then the breaking glass sound part of it. But, and even how the song is produced with the noises that come in the front and the noises that trail off in the end, and then how they do certain things with the vocal, the sound. You know, and it's like this sound like it's on telephone or.
Yeah, like there's an effect on it.
Yeah, and just the different, whenever they do different breaks, just things in the space in there, you know, it's interesting. Production of it. It's not just a straightforward rock song. You know, there's stuff you got to remember if you're going to play this song. Obviously, you know, Scott Stapp is one of the poster childs for this type of singing that came out of
the Jarl,
the Eddie Vedder age of stuff. But
so it came out in '99.
This one did.
This is their second album, Human Clay.
I mean, total bridge between the grunge and then into whatever was heavier coming out, the new stuff, maybe new metal stuff, I don't know. Because you ever listen to the band Filter?
I don't think so.
Hey man, nice shot.
I don't think so.
Cool stuff.
Not ringing any bells.
Like there's a band that when he was singing in the verses, it sounded like another band to me. That, you know, I was trying to think of Alice in Chains or Soundgarden, just how it was like that stuff. And I can't remember what band it was. Like but it's earlier in the '90s. I wish I could remember what it is, but there's just obviously they came, you know, I don't know, they were obviously influenced by that stuff, or just in the, you know, in the midst of it. What do you call this music? Alternative rock?
I mean, nowadays it's called butt rock.
Yeah, why? Because it kicks ass?
No, the story that I remember being told or seeing or reading or hearing or whatever was there was a radio station in Arkansas, I think it was, and it had something to do with this wasn't what they said, but it was something along their tagline or something was along the lines of "we play everything but rock," or I don't know. It was something.
Wow.
That's not what it is, but there was something like that, and it was this style of music. I think, you know, like.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but it turned into B-U-T-T rock.
That's funny.
Or I've also heard it called dad rock.
Dad rock. Well, that's not really fair. You know,
I mean, the people
whoever
that are our
called
age and their dads now, you know, that's what their kids are calling it.
Yeah, but I mean, eventually they'll be dads and whatever. So whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it sucks that the bands like this and bands we have already mentioned, you know, Nickelback, they all sort of get a bad rap.
Yeah, you know.
It's like cool to not like them for some reason.
Yeah. You know, I I have no shame admitting, I was 13 when this came out, and I just started getting into heavier music, and I bought this CD, or my mom bought me this CD at Kmart, and
R.I.P. Kmart.
R.I.P. Kmart. To the Wayback Machine there. And I ran it in the ground. Like it was they were definitely, I would consider them being a gateway band for me that led me to heavy. And I know that that's probably blasphemous to say, but
I don't think it is. I mean,
I've even debated, with myself essentially back and forth about introducing you to some other bands from this era, that late 90s, especially the early 2000s, the dad rock era. I mean, I don't mean for that to sound derogatory.
Is Our Lady Peace part of this whole thing? Do you know who that band is?
Yeah, I mean, you could throw them in there.
I don't really remember anything. I knew a friend of mine used to really like this Our Lady Peace song that we used to drive around smoking fat blunts and listening to them.
I mean, things like Stained and Puddle of Mud. We did a Seether song. I mean, it was a George Michael cover, but that's been a while back that we did that. But that's the only other band from this era and this style of music that we've done. I've wanted to show you some of this stuff, and a lot of the traditional metalheads and whoever else would probably throw up and vomit in their mouths about it.
Well, the idea that whatever it was,
it's stuff that you haven't heard,
Yeah, and why all of a sudden that little portion of the timepiece of that music got crapped on so much?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was just because that you were in a transition period between, I don't know, a lot of it's radio friendly.
Yeah.
I think maybe the reason that, because he's he's got a harsher vocal through this song a little bit, like not.
It's definitely more gritty.
Yeah, gritty.
Yeah.
On the way to harsher, maybe on the way, but gritty. He said they had ballads. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, and I like a band that will soften it up. I like to hear ballads, even if you're heavier. It doesn't have to be like Pantera. It doesn't have to be punch you in the face the whole time. I mean, in my opinion. Yeah. I like to hear. I want to hear another musical side of you, because people are soft too.
Yeah.
I want to hear that I want to hear that part of you too. You say all the time that metal people are sweet people and they love cats, and you see Cannibal Corpse dude out taking pictures of him and his family at Disney World and doing silly stuff. I want to hear that come out of you musically too. When you're a musician, I mean, it's in there. And I think maybe some of these bands get I don't know what it is. It's kind of sad. I mean, his vocal does get on my nerves every now and then. It didn't so much in this song, but when I think of that Arms
with Arms Wide Open.
Yeah,
it's rough.
And then even at the end when he's saying what if, it really sounds like he's not saying if, he's saying what sounds like he's saying water.
Okay.
But so I mean, if that gets on your nerves even a little bit, and he repeats what if,
it's one of those things
37 times, it's tough.
Turn to pure hatred.
Yeah.
I get it. I just there's a certain little place in my soul that I have reserved for bands like this. From that era, because that era was not only am I growing as a human being, but my musical taste, and I'm learning, I like things with distorted guitars and heavy drums. And
there's your big guitars. Like if you have on headphones listening to that, you can swim in that music.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to me. I mean, that's when I was young and I was listening to stuff. That's the music that appealed to me, was stuff that just would I don't know, it just sounded like a wave of stuff, and that's why I got into some of the music that I did, was just because of the sonic sonic sort of characteristic that came, and that's big guitar stuff, you know, and I like big guitar, yeah, distorted guitars, and when it does that, I don't know, I was big on, I mean, I would turn my nose up to, if I heard a different style, like for instance, you hear Stevie Ray Vaughan's tone, that big kind of plucky sound. It's a setting on the Fender Stratocaster. John Mayer does it too, and I don't like it most of the time. In fact, Pearl Jam does it on Yellow Ledbetter. That it sounds like a, I don't know how to explain.
I know the sound you're talking about.
And I don't personally like that. I don't like playing on that setting. But if I ever heard that somewhere, it bothered me. And so some of these bands, those guitars, a particular, if they're playing I don't know, I liked certain guitars back during that time, and if it didn't, I don't know, I like certain amps too, and if I knew they were playing, you know, I don't know, a Fender with a particular distortion pedal. That's why I hooked on to Nirvana so much, is because of what his Fender sound through, and his particular DS1 pedal that he had. Those kind of things would appeal to me, and then if I heard something different, not even that I've heard something different, if I heard something that I didn't like, a particular guitar tone or a particular kind of playing, I went away from it. I mean, this is in drop D. This sounds like he's in drop D to me. I think he is.
Maybe
the song's in D minor.
He plays a lot of different weird tunings.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounded like he had a low D, and I like that. I do like the drop D stuff. I mean, musically, I thought that I really do like this song, and I don't mind his vocal. You know, if it's and I will say that the lyrical content is generally, when it comes to Creed, from what I've heard of Creed, is uplifting stuff.
Yeah,
I know he was a religious oriented person, and he puts a lot of that stuff in there, and I don't have a problem with that. In fact, some of it was borderline Christian music.
Sure.
Which, whatever, do whatever you want.
I think that's why it was okay for me to listen to it at the age that I was listening, that my mom was buying the CD, because, you know, that's the kind of household I grew up in, was a very religious.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. We both grew up in very, very Christian homes.
Yes, we did.
But, well, that surprised me, because a lot of Christian people, the sound of the music was devil music too. If 100%. It was too heavy, it was.
Those distorted guitars are the sound of Satan, brother. Yeah.
It can be the sound. I remember people used to tell me that all the time. You know, the Christian people I was around, like even the sound of it has to be a certain sound. Boy, I rebelled.
Yeah, me too.
I rebelled young.
Obviously, here we are.
I rebelled young, son. When it came to that in particular, I rebelled young. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad. I still think it's funny to give them hell. You know, have you seen the Deadpool movies?
I don't watch movies, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, in one of the Deadpool movies, it's funny, Ryan Reynolds is doing the Deadpool thing, and he's Fred Savage is laying in a bed. I think they're recreating the Princess Bride scene. Did you see the Princess Bride even?
I'm kidding you.
Okay, because he's getting the story read to him the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's a parody on that, but then Fred Savage said something about Nickelback sucking. And Ryan Reynolds, who's from Canada, where Nickelback is from, then goes into you should watch this scene at least, all the awards they've won, all the records they hold, just whatever. I mean, and it's impressive. I mean, these guys they were actually huge. So where this idea of them sucking came into, I mean, Nickelback, I don't play a Nickelback song.
I'm not. Okay. That's the one I can't get on board with from this entire era. So,
I mean, there's, you know, it goes both ways, and I feel bad that I kind of fell into that whole thing but it's I'll say it's because of his vocal. You have to sort of, like you said, if you hear something that throws you, it's so distinctive.
It's so easy to latch onto it.
Yeah, because his voice is very distinctive. You know it's him.
Yeah.
You know it's him, and that is a good thing. That's a good thing. But you know, when you have other people saying, "Well, this sucks," and then you're like, "Yeah, this sucks," when you're young, I don't know. I feel bad for that in some ways, 'cause especially from the comeback that they got going on right now, and the guy coming out of addiction.
Yeah.
You know, rock and roll, dude.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I think it's a nostalgic thing for me, just because, like I said, this was a band that was definitely a gateway into heavier styles of music. And I even remember the next album. I can't remember what the name of that song, the album is called. It's just absolutely driving me crazy.
Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo by Creed. The opening song is called Bullets, and I had a close friend at the time, and we had gone to town. We bought the CD maybe the day it came out. So, you know, back then CDs used to come out on Tuesdays. You remember that?
I don't guess I remember that they came out particularly on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. It used to be Tuesdays. It's changed to Fridays in the last, I don't know, a few years. But anyways, that's irrelevant.
That's interesting information.
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
It used to be Tuesdays. But he had a pool table. His parents had a pool table in his house. They were well off. And he had his badass stereo system. This is 2002.
You're well off if you had a pool table.
I mean, they were, and they had a pool table.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't like
I didn't have a pool table.
It wasn't like
I didn't
a
have a pool table
generational
growing
hand-me-down that the felt was scratched and everything. It was a very pristine.
They bought a pool table.
Very nice pool table.
Yeah, I didn't have a pool table growing up.
Really, how many people have room in their house to stick a pool table?
I don't know. I guess you're right.
And room to use the cues.
One day I wish I have a pool table.
Anyways, he had the stereo system over by the pool table, and I remember the first time I ever heard that album, you know, and I was like, yeah, this is, you know, that was my gateway. And it just the distorted guitars, Mark Tremonti's riffing. I mean, the drumming is just solid. Like, he doesn't do anything.
Solid. I mean,
doesn't do anything crazy, nothing that's going to blow your mind, but everything fits in its perfect little place.
I mean, it's a 4-piece band. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-piece band with a singer.
Yeah.
You know, I like to say that, but that's the real band. That's Led Zeppelin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's, you know, you don't have another instrument to back you up on anything. Mm-hmm. Everybody's out for them, you know, and if you can make that work, I mean, and it's tough. I've heard things like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I've heard some of their live shows have been horrible.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that they didn't get the mix right, and I've heard they've been great. But when you can pull that off with the 3-piece band, with a singer who's not playing anything, but able to keep because I used to make fun of that too. Unless you were Freddie Mercury or Robert Plant, I didn't want to watch you run around singing or try. Mm-hmm. I used to really rail on that. But I mean, when you have somebody like this dude, you know, I mean, it's what I would consider a pure band, just dudes getting together and being like, this sounds good, you know, let's do more of this. And you can hear that. You can hear the little mechanisms and parts of their formula that they put together that make something that's still moving on the road right now, bro.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm fixing to say this, Richard. Thanks for showing me this Creed song, man. Wow.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Wow.
And thank you for watching We Are Great Measures. My name is Richard. This is Judson.
Great Measures.
That was What If by Creed from 1999's Human Clay.
Human Clay. There's another reference to the God thing. It's all good.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.